Christopher Cantwell and Angel Unzueta pit Iron Man against a super smart gorilla as Tony leaves rehab to unveil a new supercomputer and deliver some very big news to Patsy Walker. Christopher Cantwell delivers a wonderful little palate cleanser issue that brings the stakes down from cosmic gods and villains who want to wipe out the entire galaxy and remake it in their own image, to a gorilla who is pissed at a computer beating him in chess. It was a fantastic cleanser, but one that also continues some of the plot points from the Korvac saga, such as Tony and Patsy's romance, which Tony wants to take to the next stage and asks her to marry him in a very Tony Stark way. Cantwell handled it really well in that it showed Tony is growing as a person and he wants to make changes in his life, but then he also still acts like his old self from time to time, like how when Patsy doesn't say yes outrightly, he went and threw himself in his work and onto his supercomputer project to distract himself, which is something Tony Stark has done in the past and he will continue to do because that's just how he works. Tony also being forced to deal with a threat that wasn't so much a threat but more of a misunderstanding was great, and I like that it forced him to use things in his suit that he barely remembers installing, like roller skates, and it also leads to him jousting with a sentient gorilla on a moped, so what's not to like about this issue? The book also teases some fun stuff to come in future issues, like the return of Mandarin's 10 rings, and being Mandarin is currently dead, having been killed by Punisher years and years ago. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Chris Cantwell and his team are going to do with the character and his rings, since it seems Tony has been keeping an eye on them for quite some time now, so I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do with them. Angel Unzueta returns to the artwork for the issue with some fantastic visuals, capturing the character's emotions really well, specifically Patsy's sort of stages of emotions as she's reading the letter that Tony wrote her while he was in rehab, before transitioning over into some classic and very unique Iron Man action with the rollerblade fight and a giant gorilla jousting Tony in the streets of Tribeca. It was very cool. Iron Man issue 20 was a really fun palette cleanser issue after a huge 19-part Korvac saga, calming things down a little with some fun action and even better character development that the book has been consistently delivering on since issue 1. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Iron Man issue 20 finds Tony Stark picked up by Patsy Walker after 3 months in rehab. He asks how his old space friends are going, but Patsy knows that they are pretty much disbanded with no Korvac or Iron God to battle, so the group has turned into a fantasy baseball league, even asking if Silver Surfer wanted to join. Tony's phone rings but he doesn't pick it up, wanting to hear more about the fantasy league, and he learns that Patsy is their leader. She asks if they can stop to watch the Mets game at a local bar since her leader is starting on it. The two head to a nearby sports bar where Patsy gets right into the game. Tony reveals that he wrote her something while in rehab, intending on giving it to her once they are in the city, but he wants her to read it now. Patsy reads the letter and is shocked at its contents as Tony asks if she wants to get married, knowing a ring felt rather tacky. He knows that it's a lot to take in, but he has a real clarity right now and she has anchored him in ways no one else has. He tells her that he really loves her and Patsy knows she always will too, but Tony realizes she's saying no as Patsy reminds him the last time she was married, it was to the son of Satan and she died and was trapped in hell with demons. She knows what Tony is asking of her means everything to her, but she needs time to think it over. Tony understands as sometime later, Tony unveils the Exascale 5150 to some press, revealing the computer is solar powered and is powering all computerized systems within an 8-block radius, while also running millions of simulations and giving high-speed internet to all of Tribeca for free. Vic Martinelli continues to call Tony, but he ignores it as he reveals the computer is also going to win a timed chess game against a fierce opponent. The press, however, want to know all about Tony's rehab stint, and Tony tells them that he abused prescribed drugs and he will always struggle with addiction since that's who he is. They ask about the cosmic power he had and if he misses ruling over everyone in the tri-state area, but Tony knows that wasn't a good idea and he can have bad ideas, and even with all of the setbacks he caused, used. The innovations and diseases that were cured and new fuel sources that were found were great gains. Reporters ask how he feels about Korvac saving his life despite hating the hero, but Tony wants to move on to something a bit more fun, introducing Chet the gorilla, the 5150's chess opponent. Tony explains that Chet's intellect has been cultivated by the cognition programs of Empire State University, and he has a current IQ of 173. The Chess Federation arbiter Winifred York details the match that Chet will partake in with the computer, giving each player 90 minutes to complete all of their moves, and the one who runs out of time will lose. Chet thanks Tony for the opportunity, wondering if there are any consulting opportunities at Stark Unlimited for him since he loves computer programming and wants to branch out. Tony reminds him that he's not an active member of the board anymore, but Chet knows that he's ready to move on past the programs and into the private sector. Tony brushes him off, upsetting Chet, but reminds Stark that he has a cat running an experimental research department of his company. Tony says that Dr. Shapiro has experience as Chet gets on with his chess game. Patsy meanwhile takes a walk through the city, thinking over Tony's proposal and wondering if she loves him or loves trying to fix him. She knows he doesn't need fixing and he loves her, but wonders what she needs in life. The 5150 meanwhile has Chet on the ropes as the gorilla makes an illegal move, causing Winifred to award the computer some more time. The computer inadvertently taunts Chet, who begins getting angry and flips the table, calling the game rigged. Chet attacks the scientist and pushes Tony from the building's roof, refusing to be a pawn in a rich man's game. Tony falls from the roof as Boss summons the Iron Man suit to him, attaching it to him as he smashes into the ground. Vic again calls Tony, but he declines the call as Chet uses a laptop on the roof to hack into the Boss AI via Wi-Fi. Chet wants a rematch, but he only wants to face Tony himself as the suit's repulsors go offline thanks to what Chet did to the AI. The suit's thrusters soon also fail as Boss reveals that his defensive systems are now offline. Chet slams Tony into the street below, explaining how he got through the armor's encryption. Tony finds him insane, angering the gorilla even more as he gives chase, angered that Tony didn't even give him a chance at a job at Stark Unlimited. Tony races through the busy streets as Chet pursues him, telling the gorilla that he is cheating again by disabling his suit. Tony knows that it's probably not wise to taunt the gorilla as he asks Boss to show him which systems are still active in the suit. Tony soon finds the only thing left he has available to him is his roller skates, knowing it's going to be one of those days as he activates the skates, taking off through the traffic as Chet commandeers a Vespa from a nearby person, giving chase to Tony. Patsy meanwhile continues to weigh Tony's proposal, knowing that Tony is grown up as Chet snatches the sword off a statue of Daredevil and launches himself at Iron Man. Tony grabs a flagpole, knowing that if the ape wants to joust, then they will joust. The two beings fly at each other and Tony manages to win, smashing Chet in the chest with the pole, causing him to topple off the bike and become knocked out. Tony tells him to feel free to drop his resume off with Stark Unlimited HR though, as later on, Patsy comes to see Tony in his home, showing him the Daily Bugle front page which shows Iron Man's fight with the gorilla. Patsy tells Tony that while she does love him, she can't be married to him right now, apologizing as she gives the letter back to him and leaves. As Tony deals with that, Vic Martinelli calls again, leaving a message for Tony, knowing that they haven't spoken in years and it's like Tony is avoiding him, but he has something that Tony needs to help him with as he looks over a case filled with the 10 rings of the Mandarin.